Hi guys, in today's video we have a fantastic demonstration of Sode Garuma Jime, or otherwise known as the Ezekiel choke, demonstrated by our good buddy Christiaan sensei over at J1 JiuJitsu in Auckland. If your art doesn't involve much groundwork or chokes and strangles, I highly recommend giving this a watch. It's a really useful addition to anyone's Budo repertoire. So enjoy the video and remember to smash that like button. Thank you.
So the first technique, Sode Garuma Jime, is or commonly known as the Ezekiel choke. And we're going to start off by doing it in the gi. So I'm going to take my arm, I'm going to place it underneath his head. I'm going to bring my fingers on the inside of the gi, get a hold of that. I'm going to use my gi and my arm to turn my arm upside down. At this point here, I want to take away the space. I move away the space. I reach across and also go inside out. I'll show you the other angle in a second. And then I'm going to close my arms together and apply the strangle right there. Okay. Again, in. I'm going to take my fingers going into the sleeve. I'm going to turn that upside down. I'm going to bring it across, grab my arm, and apply the strangle by twisting in here. So without a partner, it looks like this. Here, in here, going upside down, grabbing in here, and then as I close the gap, the person's neck is in that gap. Cool, so arm comes through. With my fingers, I'm going to grab the sleeve here. I'm going to use my arm to turn my wrist upside down. I'm going to get rid of the space. And then I'm going to just rotate my hands together and finish the strangle. If I'm not wearing a gi, I can still do it within normal street clothes in here. So I'm going to come through here. I'm going to grab my sleeve in here, upside down, grab a hold of it, and twist exactly the same way. And I'm still able to make that work with just a normal clothes application. In. Grab a hold, come through, and apply the strangle right there. Yep. So I'm just grabbing my sleeve here. I could probably grab it like this, but just grab the sleeve here, upside down, grab here, and just slice down into the neck. In this case, I don't have any sleeves to hold on to, but I want to be able to understand the shape and be able to make it work. So I'm going to place my hand in here, and this time I've got no sleeve to get a hold of. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place my hand on the ground. I'm going to place my elbow into my hand. Okay, so from here to here. I'm going to bring that across his body and take away the space. My hand is now going to slide down my own arm as this one stays where it is, and I'm going to bring the gap and finish the technique right here. So from here to here, you right, and to there. There to there, and then slice it down right there. From here to here, and slice it down to take away the space. Time is limited, and what you're doing is you're spending a lot of your training time learning things that only rely on the gi to work. It doesn't necessarily translate to alternative scenarios. So here's an example. If I open up his gi and I reach in nice and deep in here, and I come under and grab this one here, and I just apply that as a little strangle over here. It's a really nice gi strangle. It will probably work reasonably nice if he's wearing a jacket. But if I get you just to take your gi top off, and if I'm trying to apply this with just a stretchy thing in here, it's going to rip before I'm actually able to do anything in here to be able to make this work. So that kind of collar control stuff against a shirt like this is just not going to give me any good use of my ability to transition my techniques between different environments clothing wise. So obviously this is no longer a good option for me to be able to apply. However, in this position in here, I could reach over here and I can come under here. Right, so I'm reaching over, grabbing myself in here, coming in here, and then I can apply a technique here, Ezekiel strangle, from there, which doesn't rely on anything that he's wearing to be able to be applied. It does rely on something that I'm wearing in this particular case, but even if we switch that to a no-gi version in here, I can come through, grab my own elbow, and apply the technique there using a no-gi version. A person's not just going to lay there and let you put an Ezekiel strangle on them. I mean, it just doesn't happen very often. So if I get myself to this position over here, a person who knows how to fight a little bit sees that there is one of my posts now taken away. Okay, so in this position, if he was to grab my foot and just kind of arch himself into this direction in here, he can use the fact that I put my arm underneath his head to help tip me over. Now, I'm hoping that he does know that, because if I'm in this position over here and I can't see the gap that I need to get in here because he's closing it all up and he's putting his shoulders up and he's trying to make it as close as possible. In this position over here, I'm going to give him a hint for him to tip me over. And as he tips me over here, I'm going to use that gap that he creates to set up the strangle and finish him from underneath. So I'm using his intention of escaping to make it easier for me to close that gap. I'll show that to you one more time. So, here I am, I'm in this position in here, he's defending really hard, I can't really get this technique in here, so I'm thinking like, let's encourage him to tip me over. As he does, that opens up that gap in here, which I can then use and set up the strangle from underneath.